Hello, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of game design here at High Point University. I finished the head and I just wanted to show you or I almost finished it. I wanted to show you what I ended up doing. I ended up creating a new layer called Zombie Mouth. I placed it below Zombie Head, and that way we actually have a mouth. And we don't have to finish off like where the gums go, right, above and below, because the head of the zombie actually, let me move this stuff so we can actually see it. Oh no. There we go. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. So I realized I wanted to have this zombie head actually looking, by itself, and then having the mouth kind of below it. It's just going to be easier to move it around, and if I need to make move the gums up and down at all, I can do that. The other thing I did, okay, so I created the zombie mouth layer, and then I selected these pieces. I actually grouped them together. I'm going to now go to Object Ungroup. So these were all separate objects, and what I might want to do actually is select all of them. And what you'll notice with the selection, by the way, is that currently it will only select what I completely window. All right, so even though my selection marquee is cutting into that lower white tooth, when I let go, it's only going to select the stuff that I completely surrounded. Okay, whoops. Just to note that. Whoops. Okay. So I'm going to select those again, and I'm going to go ahead and group those by going to Object and Group. And so now this can be like, I can move this all just in one object. The other thing I want you to notice is what I did with the little gums here below the teeth. I added a little oval that has a radial gradient shading to it using the fill, the radiant radial gradient fill. And so that's what makes that little thing. And then I wanted to point out for the background of the mouth, I actually didn't use, and for the teeth as well, and for the gums, notice I didn't create these using, sorry, why am I not seeing that? Oh, because I turned that layer off. Oh no, what's going on? Sorry, I don't know why I'm not seeing that. Zombie mouth. If you use a circle, what's going on? Stroke, fill. Opacity is set to 0 for some reason. Okay, that's why. If you make a circle and make it just taller, this arc is just too pointy for my desires. So if you're trying to figure that out, like I wanted to make these teeth kind of blocky, so instead of using the circle and using an oval-like circle, I created a rectangle. And with a rectangle, you'll notice it has this tool here that you can drag up and down or left and right, and that makes the corners, rounded to a point. So I kind of made kind of blocky teeth there, and that's how I did those. That's just a nice trick. I likely could have used that to make the circle cutout of the mouth and just didn't. The next thing I'm going to do is select these things, the tooth, the shading, and the gums, and also say Object Group there. And now I'm going to zoom out a little bit and turn on my zombie head layer. Because the last thing I realized I need to do is add these little brain splotches. I actually spent a long time trying to figure out what the best way to use Inkscape to draw them, and I'm just going to draw... Oops. I'm just going to trace over them by left-clicking and dragging, and just making little shapes. And I'm going to use the Edit Paths by Nodes tool and kind of turn all of those into these symmetric nodes and fix some of these. What got me with this one was I was too close to the guide. I might want to just delete these guides. I don't need them anymore. And kind of, ooh, way too much. Just kind of make those smaller. There we go. For right now, I'm going to say that's okay. And now I'm going to bring this up here. Oh, and here's a question. Why can't I see this over the head? Well, let's see. It's on the zombie mouth layer. So I need to go to Layer, Move Selection to Layer above, and it'll put it up to zombie head. Or I could say Move Selection to Layer and make sure I choose zombie head and say Move. There we go. I'm going to go to Fill and Stroke. I'm going to fill it. I'm going to go ahead and use the eyedropper to select this color, but just darken it just a little bit, and now turn off my stroke. And I see I'm going to have to make it just a tiny bit darker. There we go. Something like that. And I'm going to zoom in now because this is just way too... There we go. There we go. That should be symmetrical. There. Something like that. I can always change that later. And I'm not going to... Well, okay. I'm just going to copy and paste this and Alt scale it just to be smaller. There we go. Maybe click it and like rotate it. I might even put it there and of course say object lower, and you see the hotkey is page down, so oh, it worked right away. Okay, there we go. And that's more or less it. Obviously I'm going to change these a little bit later on, but there's the head. And for the animation, I'm going to want my head one export out. What we're going to do is we will kind of do the rest of the body. And when we're ready to kind of export it into Dragon Bones, we'll talk about exporting. But for now, I want to kind of make these objects one thing at a time. And the next layer I'm going to do is, I don't think I have a neck. So I'm not going to make one, but I'd probably make my torso. And so I would create a new layer called, I'm going to go ahead and call it zombie underscore torso. Is there an E? I don't know. And I'm going to go ahead and like draw that again. And we will keep doing this until we are completely finished with all of the parts of the body. And arms will be forearms. No, arms will be a layer. Forearms will be a layer. If you want this bone to move as well, to jiggle a little bit, you might put that bone on another layer. I'm not sure. And just know you're going to have the arm with the shoulder as well, even though you don't see it. You only see the forearm here. But you're going to still need that if you extend a punch with this bony arm, or if you run, you're going to see it, right? So make sure you don't forget any of your body parts that you're going to see when you end up animating a run, walk, or idle animation. Okay, and now it looks like this guy doesn't have any thighs, or it's only thighs, I don't know. So, you know, there's probably going to be only torso, one arm, two arm, a forearm, a second forearm, a thigh, and a second thigh. I don't see anything else that I might need to animate. So the head was definitely the hardest part, and I'll probably finish this and log back on and talk about how we're going to export these. Okay, bye!